Well, I want to thank you all for being here in this beautiful Dance into the Sunset gathering space that we've made here today. I want to acknowledge a few people before we get started. First of all, I see that Commissioner Corey Nearing is here. Yep. Oh, there you are. Thank you for being here. Our police chief, Sarah Mooney. We have Ike from the city. County, I'm sorry. Teresa from NCCI, Kevin Jones, Ricky Aiken, all these folks who helped put this together, and I know they'll have an opportunity to speak. And of course, Kevin Jones, as I said, our coordinator of community initiatives. Today, we are here to formally present the Mayor's Village Initiative Action Plan, a framework for a healthy and safe community. This is the most comprehensive action plan to date, focused on reducing violence in our city's north end and to improve outcomes for young African American men and boys who call these neighborhoods their home. Working with our partners at Cities United, this action plan is a result of an unprecedented partnership from all sectors of our community: government agencies, faith leaders, public safety officials, nonprofit leaders, and young people who are most impacted by violence. Together, we've committed to meaningfully improving the quality of life of the young men in 3 historically distressed communities: the historic Northwest, Coleman Park, and the Pleasant City neighborhood. Through this action plan, we stand committed to reducing the homicide rate that affects young black men and boys in half, and we want to reduce that by half by 2020. We know we must continue to act to address violence in our neighborhoods. We're really proud of the fact that we are at a 20-year low in crime in our city. We've seen a 20% decrease, but we continue to see violent crime occurring in those target neighborhoods. From 2012 to 2017, young African American males committed 50% of total shootings and 32% of total homicides. Now, we've made some great progress over the last 4 years since we established the Mayor's Village Initiative. Our public safety and community outreach strategy to provide opportunities for young African American men and boys in our northern neighborhoods. Through the Mayor's Village Initiative, we've experienced some really good success with our Peace in the Streets walks that occur almost every month, our Kids and Cops dialogue workshops, our neighborhood accountability that allows young people to avoid the criminal justice system through restorative justice, and our Operation Youth Violence Reduction, Intervention, and Prevention. We also have our work programs, our summer internship program, and our local workforce development program that we do in conjunction with Urban League. But as a city, we want to take things now one step farther. So about a year ago, we began working with the Cities United folks to develop a collaborative framework created by the larger West Palm Beach community to ensure a West Palm Beach where African American males are safe, empowered, and secure. This framework is a community action plan to improve outcomes in 5 key areas: crime prevention and intervention, re-entry and the justice system, employment and training, education and healthcare. It also lays out the next steps for implementation, sustainability, measuring our progress, and funding and social awareness. I believe that implementation of this framework will become one of our city's great future achievements. Thank you to so many dedicated community members, public servants, and compassionate leaders who developed this important plan. Through their hard work and dedication, I'm confident that we are on our way to West Palm Beach where all African American males are safe, empowered, and secure.
My name is Quiniqua Carthan, and I serve as the Director of Planning and Programs with Cities United. We are extremely excited. Thank you. We are extremely excited to be here with you all this morning to celebrate the launch of the Mayor's Village Initiative Action Plan. Cities United is a national network of about 130 and growing mayors who are successfully leading the way to uplift African American men and boys across this country while confronting the urgent and everyday crisis they face. Cities United has a goal to reduce homicides of African American men and boys ages 14 to 24 by 50% by year 2025. Excuse me. We have the opportunity to work with a vast array of leaders, such as mayors, city leaders, community partners, and youth advocates. The work that we're doing in West Palm Beach is a part of the Cities United's 2018-2019 Roadmap Academy. We are extremely proud to work with Kevin Jones, Ricky Aiken, and Trey Bonilla. Mayor signed on in 2014 and has remained committed to supporting this work through a comprehensive action plan, which we are extremely excited to be a part of. Through this opportunity, West Palm Beach has access to crucial tools and resources to enhance this vision and actually support it through implementation, evaluation, and sustainability. While we celebrate this current milestone, we recognize that this is only the beginning. West Palm Beach saw over 50 shootings and 20 homicides in 2017, but we know that one shooting, one homicide is one too many. We remind you that this work of the Mayor's Village Initiative has only begun. It will take each and every one of you to move this work forward. This type of work cannot be done in silos. It must be done together. It will take your social, political, intellectual, a human, and especially your financial capital to not just move this work forward, but to sustain it over time. Lastly, we want to leave you with just a little bit of encouragement. At times, this work will get very difficult. You may not see the outcomes that you're looking for today or tomorrow. It may feel impossible, but we want to assure you, we do this work all over the country. And although it might get hard, if you stay committed to the strategy that you put in place through this Mayor's Village Initiative Community Action Plan, if you remain flexible in your delivery, and lastly, if you keep youth and individuals who have experienced violence at the forefront of your work, you will move this work forward. Before I walk off, I want to just give a certificate of recognition to the individuals that we've had a chance to work with over this last year. So just quickly, we recognize the work that you all have put in place and would like to give a certificate of recognition to Kevin Jones. Thank you, Kevin. There we go. Ricky Aiken. And this last one we have as well for Trey Bonilla, who wasn't able to be here this morning, but Trey has been doing some tremendous work in our Roadmap Academy Fellowship, where he works with about 14 other young leaders from across the country to really look at youth-adult partnership and how they can do this work, not just from young people or old people, as they like to call us sometimes, but how can we actually do this work together? So this last one is for Trey. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Kevin Jones, Coordinator of Community Initiatives, and I'm the City Lead for the Mayor's Village Initiative. So this has truly been a long time coming, about 4.5 years in the making, and we are excited. As Quaniqua just articulated, we know that the work is not over, it is just beginning, but it was a whole lot of work putting this action plan together, but we do truly believe that it is a framework that will guide us over this next decade or so, hopefully, and it will assist in improving the outcomes of African American males in the north end of the city. So, you know, I'm not an island unto myself. There's been a lot of individuals that have been a tremendous support in leading this work. Cities United, we cannot cannot thank you all enough for your technical assistance and for your lived experience and the work that you do not only in Louisville but across the country. So we thank Cities United. Let's give them a hand. Yes. But also we had work groups here in the city. Just to give you a little backdrop, over the past year or so, what we did was we looked at about 5 different pillars that we're going to focus our work around, and you've already heard them. The mayor mentioned them, but you know, crime prevention, intervention, reentry in the justice system, health, and education as well, and employment and training. So we believe if we can make strides in each of these areas, it'll improve the outcomes of our young men. But what we did was we really wanted to hear from the community. Oftentimes we come up with plans and we place them on the community, but we had community conversations starting, I think, about a year ago, last January. We had one in the historic Northwest, one in Pleasant City and Coleman Park, but we really wanted to hear from the young men and the community. What did they feel was needed in the lives of black males to make them successful in those areas that I just lifted up? But then, we didn't stop there. We took the information that they conveyed to us, and we built work groups. We built work groups that took the cries of the community, if you will, along with their institutional knowledge, and that's how we came up with the objectives and the goals that you will find in the plan. But we had co-champions for each of those goals, and I would just like to just give them a shout out real quick. I see one here, Ike Powell and Chief Mooney with the crime prevention and intervention. I see Greg Starling with the Department of Juvenile Justice. He helped lead the reentry and justice system work with Craig Spatera. I also see Dr. Florencia Davis. I don't know why she's out there, but Dr. Davis and Jeanette Marshall, they led our health work group. And we don't have the other two represented here today. They had other obligations, but they really guided the work. And also, there are others that may not have been co-champions of the plan, but we have worked diligently with our young men in these neighborhoods. The Urban League of Palm Beach County, we see them here today. We thank them, along with the Boys and Girls Club, the Police Athletic League, the Salvation Army Northwest Community Center. What we truly understand is that it will take a village. It will take a village to improve the outcomes of these young men. But it must go, as Quaniqua stated, it must go beyond this. We need, the white community, the black community, the Latino community, the business community. We need everyone to focus their efforts on these distressed neighborhoods that have been overlooked far too long. So we're excited. We're excited to continue to engage our community. We're excited to continue to engage you, and we'll talk a little more about that as we wrap up. But at this time, once again, just grateful. Just wanted to give you all a little background on how we got to this point. But now I would like to turn it over to some other leaders so that they can talk about the significance of this work. And we'll start with Chief Sarah Mooney.
Good morning. I'm going to be very brief on my section, but actually I'd like Ike Powell to come up with me because the section that we worked on has to do with crime prevention and intervention. It's one small piece of the puzzle. I think one of the things that we identified clearly is that it's a whole systematic approach that we need to take in order to make an impact with this program. So I would just like to say thank you to Ike for helping me through this from the county standpoint. We worked as a team. We had a lot of great people that contributed to our part of this, but it's a huge program. It's more than just crime prevention and intervention. It's got multiple pieces that we need to address comprehensively in order to make an impact. And I think this is a great framework, and we've got a lot of good things and a lot of good work ahead of us. So thank you. You want to say anything?
Thank you, Chief Moody. It was a pleasure and an honor to work on this plan, and I look forward to implementing this plan in my role at the county as the My Brother's Keeper Task Force leader. I mean, we see the Mayor's Village Initiative as a key essential piece to our efforts to improve the life outcomes of boys and young men of color. So, again, it's a pleasure to be involved in this initiative.
Thank you.
My name is Ricky Aiken, Executive Director of Inner City Innovators. As you know, what happens to black men and boys in this community is extremely important to me. I'm a resident of this community, Pleasant City in particular, and I've lost many of my friends and young mentees to gun violence right here in these communities. So this plan is definitely progress in a fight that we've been fighting for far too long. There are people out there wondering what they can do to get involved. I invite everyone to the table because I see one of my key responsibilities in this initiative is holding all stakeholders responsible for doing what we all must do to improve outcomes for our young men. Our young men are overly exposed, disproportionately exposed to gun violence, and it's going to take all hands on deck to change their experiences in these communities. These communities weren't always this way. We need to return these communities back to a form of glory that the young people in my age group do not know. So we're inviting everyone to the table to join us in this fight forward. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah, well, you want to talk about tonight? You want me to be there? Okay. All right. So today we just wanted to officially launch the action plan, but tonight is where we will dig a little deeper. So please, we invite community members, people from all sectors of our community to come out to the community launch tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. It will be held at the Pleasant City Gym, which is 522nd Street here in the city of West Palm Beach. So here we will dig a little deeper, in the plan, and you will also find out how you can get involved. But from the faith community to the business community to nonprofits to returning citizens, that have been incarcerated, there's room for you, like Ricky said, at the table. So our hope is to see you tonight at 6 p.m. where we can, dig a little deeper on what some of the goals are with this plan, but also how you can get involved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. What questions do you have?
Mayor, 30 days from now, you're going to be ex-mayor. What happens to this program?
It will continue. We have awesome staff that are committed to making this happen, and I know that they will make sure that we move forward with this. The other really powerful part about this is that our community partners are there behind us and supporting us, and we're doing this work together, and that's what makes it so powerful. I think it's more than 30 days, Tony. Well, actually, April 4th is my official last day. Yeah.
Why is it important for you to take this on now?
Well, we've been working on this for a few years. I joined the Cities United Mayors back in 2014, was it? 2014, because I thought it was a group that was important for us to be a part of. We have been working on several different initiatives since then, but what was really important is to lay out a plan for the future. And so we've been working on that for about a year, as Kevin said. But before that, we have been doing our Kids and Cops dialogues, our Neighborhood Accountability Board, where young people who have committed a first-time misdemeanor get to stay out of the criminal justice system and are able to pay back the community through a restorative justice process. And our Peace in the Streets walks, which we conduct almost every month.
One of the questions that I have is I discussed with Kevin earlier that the city does fund about $300,000 for this program, but how important is it to get the community engaged, to get volunteers involved, just, so we can send a message to people who have involved?
Well, it's critically important, and I'll tell you a story. A couple of weeks ago, I got an email from a young man who had applied for a job in the city and was turned down, in part because he couldn't pass the background check. He had just been released from prison in November and had no other employment to show us that he had a history of successful employment. These are the young people we need to embrace and get into meaningful work. And as I said in my State of the City, I challenge the business community to start looking at employing our young people who live in these neighborhoods, who just come out of prison, our young people who are searching for a place to be. And we need to start, our business community needs to put their arms around this and help us work this through, along with our not-for-profits and the city itself. So I'm in the process of working with this young man to try and find him a place to work, because we want him to be gainfully employed.
This blends in with other programs that are also focusing on the area. For example, if purpose-built communities comes in, as they say they're picking up, this group would be able to work with them. One doesn't include the other.
Actually, the purpose-built communities is a little north of our target area. So our target area is Pleasant City, Coleman Park, and the historic Northwest. But certainly, obviously our CRA comes into this, and all of the other, My Brother's Keeper, the county initiative, the work that the county's doing on reentry, which is so important. So it really is coming together with all of these different folks to really make this work. Other questions? Anybody else want to say anything? All right, thank you all for being here. Thank you.